This episode today is going to be way different, unlike anything I've done so far. It's kind of a personal one too, so I'll try not to drag this on too long. We'll just get right to it. But today's episode is kind of a tribute to an old friend of mine named Naylor. He was in the storage game for a number of years. He ran a company called Storage Marketing Solutions, and they provided, that sounds marketing for storage, owners, operators, managers, a lot of different things he was in that realm doing. And one of the things he did was called Storage Manager Elite, and these were audio sessions. It wasn't much for being on video, but it was audio sessions that each week he would have some sort of tips that he would go in, and some strategies that were help with your sales, help with your conversions, help with your marketing, you name it. Each week was a little something different. So I thought it'd be nice to kind of sprinkle some of these throughout the self-storage show episodes. Might be asking why he doesn't do it himself and, continuing his business. A couple years ago, he passed away, and I just kind of gave it some time before I released some of these episodes. Again, he was a friend of mine. It sucked, going through that. But I've, talked to his family and made sure they're okay with, that I have these recordings to, let some of these things live on, put it out there. So, that's what I'm doing. You'll listen to him, and he's a great guy. It really comes through on his recordings. He was a master marketer, and he just, again, wanted to give value wherever he could. And I like to think that hopefully I'm kind of, carrying that torch in my own little way. Can't hold a candle to what he did. He was fantastic, but hopefully I can put my own little spin on things and kind of carry that on as giving value and helping, and that's kind of the idea. So anyway, it's just kind of a tip of the hat to Derek. He was a great friend, great guy. Miss him, but yeah, let's just get right to it. It's about 20 minutes for this episode, and just listen to it, see what you get out of it. And I would really love any comments that you get from it. Send them my way. I would love to hear what you thought. And if you like it, I'll start doing some more of these sessions. I have a lot of recordings from him in the archives that I want to, like I said, kind of sprinkle throughout some of these sessions. So anyway, without further ado, let's get on with it. Thanks a lot, guys.
So the big question is this: how are those in the self-storage industry like us going to be successful in today's market? That's the question, and this show will give you the answers. My name is Jim Ross, and welcome to the Self-Storage Show.
Hello everybody, and welcome to the April 26th, 2010 Self-Storage Manager Elite Training Session. This is Derek Naylor, and I apologize in advance for the sound of my voice. I'm still fighting that pesky cold that I mentioned I had last week, which is okay because today's session is going to be nice and short for you. Today I want to cover what most people consider to be the most important part of sales, which I absolutely disagree with, and that is closing the sale. Now, let me restate that. Closing the sale is absolutely important. Obviously, it's the whole point of doing all this, but focusing only on the closing technique is, I believe, just a sincere waste of time. If you do so, if you just focus on closing the sale, it sort of feels like you're going for the kill with your closing technique. And if you are, I believe that the only thing you're going to end up killing is your deal instead. Because the prospect can sense that. Now, if you've been listening to these sessions for long, you understand that I'm a big fan of building trust and credibility up front, extracting criteria, matching benefits to the criteria, and then, of course, asking for the sale after that's all over. But as I stated the first time we talked about this subject a month or so ago, or a month or two ago, I should say, if you haven't done the first 3 steps right, there isn't any amount or any special closing technique that's legal and ethical, obviously, that's going to get you that deal if you don't have any trust and credibility, and if you haven't told the person or made it very clear to the person that you are going to provide them with what it is that they want, or you're going to relieve the pain in their life, or you're going to give them the gain that they want. So just for fun, since this is going to be a short session, I wanted to go through a list of closing techniques that I have. And believe it or not, these are actually taught in sales seminars. Some of you have probably been to them around the country. But there are so many different closes out there, and the funny thing is that none of them will work if you don't do the first 3 steps right. And somebody seems to be missing that boat. So anyway, I'm just going to run through. I think some of these are funny. There's the 1, 2, 3 close, which is if you can get the person to say yes 3 times, or take them down a logical path, you can get them to close. There's the adjournment close, which is give them time to think. The affordable close, the alternative close, the artesian close, ask the manager close, the assumptive close, which is acting as if they're already going to buy, the balance sheet close, which is adding up the pros and cons, the best time close, the bonus close, the bracket close, the calculator close, the calendar close, the companion close, the compliment close, which is to flatter them, the concession close, the conditional close, the cost of ownership close, which is a very logical approach, the courtship close, which is woo them to the close like you would a date, the customer care close, daily cost close, which is breaking it down. Oh, this only costs you 75 cents a day. The demonstration close, which is demonstrate the product, distraction close, the doubt close, the economic close, the embarrassment close, the emotion close, empathy close, empty offer close, exclusivity close, and this goes on and on and on. You can see I'm only on the E's, and this is in alphabetical order. There's the handover close, the humor close, the IQ close. There's the puppy dog close, which is acting cute to invoke sympathy and nurturing response. Now these are, I'm just skipping through these here because you would go to sleep if I went through this entire list. But the bottom line is, there are so many different ways that you're supposed to be closing the sale. And in reality, if you do the first 3 steps right, which again is to build trust and credibility, extract criteria, and match your benefits up with your criteria, if everything else adds up, then it's just the closing of the sale or them signing the lease is just the next natural thing that happens. Now, of course, my favorite closing technique is what's called the National Get Off the Fence Week close, which is where you buy a little fence like at a dollar store or something like that, and one of those little plastic people, maybe like a G.I. Joe or some sort of toy, and then you wire it to the fence, and then you put it up on your counter and you say, this is National Get Off the Fence Week. I need you to get off the fence and decide which way you're going to go. Now, okay, that was a joke too. I don't recommend that, by the way. And in reality, in closing the sale in self-storage, it's really simple. After you've done the first 3 steps, you simply make a statement which is very soft, but this thing is so effective that I just want you to almost use it word for word if you can. So after you've gone through and you've decided what size unit they need, you've given them the promotion that you're currently running, you've given them the price, and the conversation's going really good, you simply say something like, okay, it sounds like we have a perfect fit for you. Are you comfortable reserving this unit over the phone, or does it make more sense for you to come down and take a tour? Okay? That's it. I'll say it again. Okay, it sounds like we have a perfect fit for you. Are you comfortable reserving this unit over the phone, or does it make sense for you to come down and take a tour of the facility? Now, a good percentage of the people will just reserve the unit over the phone if you've done the first 3 steps right. There will be some people who want to come down and make sure that a 10 by 10 or whatever is the right size, and just, they like to see and touch and so forth before they actually buy something, so they'll come down and take a tour. Now, if they do if they do reserve over the phone, great. Take a deposit, $15, $25, whatever it is that your management structure wants you to do. But take a deposit. If you can get just $10 or $15 or even $20 down on the unit, then your chances of them coming in and signing a lease go up to like 95% or more. Now, if they say, you know what, I'd rather come down and take a tour, then you need to set a firm appointment with the person. And what I mean by that is you don't want to just say, okay, great, I'll see you when I see you. You want to set an appointment at a set day and time, because people tend to honor appointments that are firm rather than just a loose appointment where they can come whenever they want. So set an appointment with them and let them know you look forward to seeing them, and actually look forward to seeing them. It's called positive expectancy. Look forward to seeing them when they come, and when they do come, act excited to see them and so forth. Now, let's say that somebody says, you know what, I'm not comfortable reserving over the phone and I don't really want to take a tour. I need to talk to my boss or my wife or my husband or whatever. Then this next technique is really important that you use as well. You simply say, okay, no problem, I completely understand. What I'm going to do for you, since it does sound like this is a perfect fit, is I'm going to go ahead and put your name on the unit anyway. And if you'll do me a favor and just call me back if you do not need this unit, then I'll take your name off of it so we can rent it to someone else. Now, I'll say that again. If they say no to giving you a reservation over the phone, and they don't want to come take a tour, you just say, okay, I'll tell you what, I completely understand. Go ahead and talk to your boss or your husband or whoever, and I'm going to go ahead and put your name on this unit anyway because it does sound like a perfect fit for you, and I want to make sure that it's here for you. And if you could do me a favor and just let me know if you do not need it, that way I can take your name off of it and release it to somebody else. Now, what you're doing there is, you notice I'm not saying we only have 2 of these left, so you need to come down and rent this thing right away. Now, if you only have 2 left, it's okay to say that. But if you don't, you simply just say, I want to make sure that it's here for you when you come in, which is not lying, of course. And then by doing that, what you're doing is you're doing them a favor and you're invoking the law of reciprocity. Also, subconsciously, many people will consider their problem solved, which is the problem of finding a storage unit will be solved because they've got their name on a unit, they liked you, the price was good, you met their criteria, and so on and so forth. So it's a really good technique, and if you'll do those 2 things, first off, a good percentage of the people will just reserve it over the phone and or come down and take a tour. If they don't, you're also going to get a good amount of people who will let you put their name on the unit, and of course the important part is you get their name and information so that you can follow up with them if needed. First name and email address is great. First name, email address, and phone number is even better if you want to ask for that, and that way you can put their name on the unit and you can follow up with them if you haven't heard from them in a couple days and simply say, hey, I put your name on this unit, I just want to make sure that you're still interested in it, otherwise I'll just take your name off of it. And it's a really powerful technique. Now, of course, you have to do this with sincerity, you have to do it with confidence, and you really have to be authentic in this approach. You can't be cheesy about it or fake it or anything like that, or else it won't really work and it will come off as being just another sales technique. And then, of course, once you get their email address, if you're using our email marketing system, be sure to plug the first name and email address into the prospective customer field in the email marketing system so that they can continue to get these emails from you, differentiating you from your competition. So that's pretty much it for today. I hope that you found this helpful, and I hope that you've enjoyed the short nature of this session and that my cold voice hasn't driven you crazy. But I just want to drive home the point. If you do the first 3 steps right, it's very natural for you to ask that question, and a good percentage of the people will really appreciate that. And don't focus on all those crazy closes that I mentioned earlier. They have their place, but for what we're doing in self-storage, if you're not building trust and credibility and really matching your product up with what the person wants, then none of those will work. So don't fall victim to those or feel like you have to be using all of those fancy closes. Anyway, that's it for today. By the way, if you sent in your address for the book, we're sending those books out this week. We appreciate all of the participation. We had almost 95% of the people send in their addresses, so that's great. We will get the book out to you this week. It might come to you later this week. It might come to you the first part of next week, but regardless, it will be coming. It's called The Fred Factor, and I think you'll really enjoy it. Anyway, take care. Have a great week.
Thank you so much for listening to the Self Storage Show. Would you like some free stuff? Go to 3milestorage.com/free to find a list of items you can get for free that will help you dominate your 3-mile market. There, you'll find our free ebook, the Every Call Counts sales script, how to join our Facebook community, access to the next showing of the 3-day online summit, and whatever else we can think of to bring value to you and your self-storage business. So go to 3milestorage.com/free and enjoy.